Cheers, everybody. Can you really cheers to a coffee? I feel like I need to have a beer in my hand. Happy Australia Day, everybody. Not really. Not so happy. Or not, whatever. It's meh. It's Australia Day. It's a public holiday today. Whatever that means. That's like saying a weekend, right? Doesn't exist. Not in my vocabulary. Anyway, hi. How you all doing? So Ian Scott Johnson saying Altium no more. Altium no more. Everyone start chanting Altium no more. Yeah. Does Australia Day feast the formation of the state of the country? It's a really politically delicate point. I'm not getting into it. I'll let other people jump in on that. I'm not going to get involved with what Australia Day means or what it is or how it offends one half the country. Anyway, I'm staying out of it. No politics today on the stream. No politics. Ixnay on the politics. Except for EDA-tools. We can do politics about EDA-tools. That's fine. Yeah, we can bash Altium. Bash it. Hi, everyone. So it's like just turned 7 o'clock in the morning and my air conditioner's been on already for 20 minutes. We're having a bit of a heat wave at the moment in Melbourne. And I think I got 4 hours sleep last night. Oh my gosh. Hot. Uncomfortable. So I'm going to be blundering through stuff today. If I start slurring and driveling down my face, just no one tell me. Just let it go. No Discord bot today, just letting you know. No laser. Laser's not turned on. The YouTube chat stuff is on, so I think the logo will work in chat, but maybe not. I don't know. I broke a lot of the code last week, and I don't know if I fixed it. Oh yeah, I got to do logo. I keep forgetting now. I changed my own API, and I can't remember. Maybe it's not working. That's okay. Today's not about the logo. I'm going to hopefully do some KiCAD. Oh, right. I know why. Looks like my MQTT server has gone down. Bear with me a moment. Okay. There we go. Okay, MQTT server is back up. I need to put them inside some type of service or something, but haven't got around to it yet. Anyway, okay, that was the only logo distraction we're doing today. The only one. So, let me go and say hi to everyone in the chat. Oh my god, that is bright red. That is alarmingly danger. Danger Will Robinson. So, Rep Madness, good morning. Jerry, hello. Embedded Hobbyist, hi. Christopher, squeak. Adam, hello. Mike is up way too early. Emery, hello. Mako, Gary, T, hello. Andy, Paul, g'day. Yerbo Prime, Jerker, hi. Scrolly, Crazy Roops. Peter, 2 minutes early. Where is Sion? What? I can be early sometimes. Not often. Occasionally. Sometimes late. Try to be on time. Ian, Scott Johnson, hello. Welcome. Oh, I. Bleep Track, hello Bleep Track. How is your house shenanigans going? I've been following on Twitter. It's seems like you guys have bitten off way more than you'd planned, but you seem to be finally progressing. Francesco, hello. Hardcore engineering. Why Altium no more? Oh, Ian was saying it. He's an Altium user. I think people are sick and tired of paying for the for the yearly maintenance and never getting the bug fixes. I think that could be why. Beata, hello. John Meeking, hello. Bottoms up. Michael, good morning. Peter S, hello. How is Colorado doing? That's not a cappuccino, it's a latte. I don't even know the difference. What cappuccino? So a cappuccino is just a latte with chocolate on top, right? I don't know, something like that. Show us your Southern Cross tattoo. No. Hello, Renee. Hello, Carsten. Rob E, good morning. Rota, hello. Team Easy EDA. Easy EDA has come a long way. It really has. It's a very good tool, but not for me. That's nothing to do with for me or not. I don't know. Yeah. You got 15 centimeters of snow. Nice. I'll swap you some snow for our heat wave. Hello, Eric. Do folks in Melbourne have air conditioning? Yeah. The first thing we did when we bought this house was put air conditioning in every room. Split systems in every room. Yeah. 100% must. Air conditioning overheating, for sure. Dutch Taurus, hello. Oh, it jumped. Johnny! Good morning, Johnny. Graham, hello. David Boyd, Fochnology, hi. Electric Smoke UK, X Micron, hello. Dishipu, hello. Sid, good morning. Hey AJ, pew pew pew. No lasers today. David Boyd, hello. Have I got everyone? Aaron Knox, hi. Andres Zapfi, hello. Dave Darko, what? Hello, Dave Darko. Are you sure, Sion? Snow would be actually freezing. Yeah, I'd take. I much prefer the cold than the heat. I feel it's much easier to get warm than it is to cool down. Like, there's only so many layers of clothing you can take off in the heat before you can't take anything else off, and then you're stuck in the heat, right? But there's always more things you can put on to warm you up. I think maybe I could be completely simplifying this. Wow, I can't even talk. I warned you all, I'm very tired. How to confuse a trainee barista, ask for a cappuccino without chocolate dust. Maybe. It's also the amount of milk to coffee, I think. Oh, I don't know. What, Aaron? Me and my wife, both daughters have COVID. Oh, no way. So to hear. I hope you all got the light bout. Meaning that, look, let's face it, if we're going to get COVID, at least better off getting the strains that are now than getting Delta, right? Or prior. Like, it's... Yeah, but I hope you're all okay. Isn't Australia in the 50s? Australia's quite hot at the moment. Or not, I don't know about the 50s. We've had 33 to 37 degrees like every day for like 2 and a bit weeks, up to 39. Yeah, it's going to be hot the next few days. So it's just uncomfortable, really uncomfortable. Hopefully mild version. Yeah. Is the UV not temp? It's the humidity. It's the I don't like a dry heat is more bearable. It's just been humid. Like, it's just like walking outside has been like walking through thick hot air. It's just been disgusting. I feel like I'm in the tropics, but I don't have any of the benefits of being in the tropics. Like, there's no beautiful beaches outside. I'm not at a resort. There's no, I mean, we've got a swimming pool, but it's not what I would want to be swimming in. Anyway, whatever. Shut up, Sion. Let's get on with the show. Except I'm coughing still. Oh my gosh, Jerry, I just read that as I hate humanity. I mean, I'm with you on that one. Humanity sucks. They're the worst. Okay, sorry. So, I got the winter vomit sickness. Me, third time in 6 weeks. The winter vomits? I don't know what that is. I've never heard of that. Is that a real thing? Really? The winter vomit sickness. Okay. 98% humidity. Ugh. Also, Western Australia reached 50.7 recently, which was hottest day on record. Yeah, it's been hot. We've been having a hot streak, heat wave, something, whatever it's called. Humidity sucks, can confirm. Absolutely. Hello, Martin. A norovirus. What is a norovirus? Okay. Anyway, so I have spent the last week. I'm trying to get everything ready to launch my S3 stuff. There's stacks of work to do to launch my boards. Unfortunately, my own fault, self-inflicted. Right? I've got all my websites and marketing to do, all the board validation and stuff, which is done. Small run production has started, yay! But I don't have enough silicon. Anyway, I've got another video coming. Apologies. No, I'm not apologizing for my teaser video the other day. For those that didn't see, I put a teaser video out that my new panels, my first production panels had arrived. Never heard of norovirus. I don't think so. Or if I have, I don't know. I live under a rock most days. Fire's on here, all snuggled with cat, wife next to it. Wait, the wife's next to the cat? Wait. Or you're all just next to the fire? I'm confused, Rob. But turn the fire down, you're making me feel hot. The Western Desert lives and breathes in 45... It does. Yes. Good song. You're all near the fire. But who started it? Who started the... Anyway, doesn't matter. Okay, forget it. We're going to do tacky song lyrics now. We live on an island far, far away. We do, from everyone. So my focus has been on all of that, and one of the things I wanted to do... So, my current set of Tiny Pico shields are compatible with my Tiny S3 and even my Pro S3. The first set of pins on the Pro S3 are fully Tiny Pico compatible. So you can use the same shields. But there were a couple of things that I wanted to update and tweak. And that one of the things I want to do is merge my 3-up shield and my prototype shield. So I've currently got... so they were the first shields I kind of made for the campaign for my Tiny Pico way back in a previous life. Well, someone started it, Paul. Hello, Paul. Hello, Bruce. Someone damn started that fire. Anyway, I have to ring up Billy and ask him who it was. So I wanted to merge them together. I want to make a new, either a 2-up or a 3-up shield that'll be compatible with the Tiny Pico, Tiny S2, Tiny S3 still, but that has a prototyping area on it. I think that'll be a lot more useful for people, especially if you, like, rather than trying to stack boards together to do it. Hey, Chris. So I kind of started putting something together and then thought, oh, I should just do this on the stream, that way I can get feedback from people. So it's -2 here. Yeah, -2 is cold. No laser today. No laser play today, folks. And there's no Discord bot running at the moment either. Hello, Jean-Marc. Probably got that wrong. My accent, my pronunciation. You do need to make sure you have the correct extinguisher if you set a fire. Yes. Or just run very fast in the opposite direction. Opposite is the right direction, whichever that direction is. Okay, so I did started 60 Fahrenheit. Can we, let's not talk Fahrenheit. What is that? Is that like an inch? What is an inch? Sounded French enough. French enough? Yeah? It's too hot today in Sion's shed. Laser adds unnecessary heat. No, it's just... Oh, Bruce, stop it. Oh, look at... So Bruce just posted this on... Actually, I'll open it up. Oh, look at that. That is just... Look at that. Beautiful. I could wake up to that. Yum. Nice. As long as I could go skiing. That'd be awesome. F is fairy units. Fairy units. Okay, so gotta stop being distracted by being not so hot. So I started grabbing, so this is my, or was my 3-up shield. So there's a few things I wanted to do with it. And I don't even know if it should be a 3-up or a 2-up. I don't know if it really needs 3. Like, do people really plug a board in and 2 other boards? I don't know. But having a stemmer connector on it, I think, is a good idea. And also having a JST connector on it. At least for the tiny S3 or the tiny boards, because the JST connector's on the bottom if you've added it on. So yeah, this is the shield that currently lets you put 3 boards on. So you got a board here, a board here, and a board here, and it doesn't really matter where you stick the board in. Like the tiny Pico, hey Marius, and then you can put 2 more shields in it. So, but I want to make something that's a bit more useful. But I have to decide if I'm gonna, like, how many I'm gonna. Will it be pass-through pins? Yeah, all the pins they're pass-through, as in they're all connected to it. I'll show you one at the moment. I might have one here. So this, I didn't even turn this on because I didn't think I was going to use it. I'm going to say the A word. Sorry, Alexa, turn on fire. Oh, and blind. Out of focus, upside down, right way around, still out of focus. So this is not enough light. So I'm using this, I got pogos on this at the moment, but this is my current 3-up shield that I originally shipped with my campaign. Oh, so long ago. And it's basically just 3 sets of headers that are all connected to each other. And so you can stick a tiny Pico in one of them, and then, for instance, you could stick a, what have I got just lying around? You could stick a I2C shield in, right? And then you could stick a screen. Do I have a screen? I do. No, that's not a screen. Where's my... Anyway, you know what I mean? It's just a way of being able to stick 3 boards together without having to stack them. And, you know, and I did the 3D printed feet on the bottom, so the solder pads don't scratch your desk. Woo. Anyway, so I want to do an updated version of this, but that also has a JST connector on it, a stemmer connector on it, and a prototyping area. So I've got a separate prototyping shield. Let me just grab one. So remember, these were designed years ago, years and years ago. So I made a prototyping shield for the Tiny Pico. Now the original Tiny Pico didn't have a reset button on it. So I included a reset button, and then I also connected just 2 buttons to it, to 2 different I/O, and then you've got a prototyping area. And this used to, it would fit on here, but you could also just stack it on top of the Tiny Pico. So I want to do a prototyping area like this on the actual base shield, and I got to kind of work out what else I want to put on it. So to answer your question, Chris, so you could get 6 on there with the proper headers. 6. How would you get 6? You mean if you stacked the boards? Well, you could, but it's not, like, why would someone want to do 6? That's a lot. Yeah, like I'm even thinking. Well, the boards are already stackable. The headers, the shields are already stackable, but I dislike stackable. Like, I think 2 boards together is fine, but I've seen people stack stacks of boards together, and I don't personally think it's a nice way to work and design. Are my boards polarized? Folk knowledge, what do you mean by polarized? No, you can't stick 2 Tiny Picos on the same board. No, it's a tiny Pico or a tiny whatever and shields. That's what it's designed for. How many shields do I have? Oh god, stacks now. I don't know. I've lost count. Hang on. That's a really good question. Quite a few. How many have I got? So R2S Audio Shield, that's 1. Explorer Shield, 2. So that obviously won't stack. I2C Breakout Shield, 3. Alex's LOL RGB, that's 4. The RGB IPS, 5. That's discontinued. 6 for the Proto, 7 Audio, 8 RTC, 9 Grove, and then the 3-up, 10. So 10 shields. I mean, it's not that many. Of the PC 104. What's the PC 104, Peter? Oh, is that that stacking standard for the PC interface? The PC 104 interface for a tiny Pico would be great. Well, someone can make a shield. No worries. But I want to merge this Proto shield and the 3-up shield. I think would be quite useful. Starfighter 104. Hey IVH. What did I miss? How much did you miss, Wagon? Hello, Wagon Loads. Not much. Yeah, that embedded. Yeah, I remember seeing a video about that a while ago. I'd love to see a quick multi-socket board. What do you mean a quick multi-socket? I mean that's I2C Breakout here. It's got two on there, and one of them is user controlled for power. And the other one's not. Is that what you mean? Like multi-socket? More than 2? But the whole point is they're chainable. Why would you... What's the point? I'm asking, what's the point of having multiple if they're chainable? Something to stop it being. Oops. Anyone here from Russia? No. Yeah, I'm trying to work out what multiple connectors would be for. Hey, Hybotics. Yeah, PC 104 is still used in industry in a lot of places, though, isn't it? And a lot of places where they've never upgraded their hardware. Because I was not able to add 2 sockets to my Pentagon PCBs, I made my own through traditional. Okay, these conversations are getting all over the place. Okay, I'm gonna so I thought people might face the same problem. I mean, I can put more than one connector on. I just see, it's interesting because like outside of the SparkFun and Adafruit space, which is massive, sure, like there aren't many people that are using stemmer or quick connectors. A lot more people are getting on board with it now, but you know, not all. You got to be committed like Adafruit to make all of their sensor boards and modules work off stemmer. But yeah, I'm happy to. We can do that. If someone puts in 180 degrees, you don't get smoke. Right, so my Tiny S2 and Tiny S3s are... Well, you don't get smoke anyway. If you put it in backwards, you don't get smoke, the way the pins are laid out. But, still. So, the Tiny S2 and the Tiny S3 have got 11 and 12 pins, so they're kind of keyed. So, which is the first thing I need to do. And so... I've got a supplier of where I get all of my header pins from, all of my custom header pins, both SMT and through-hole ones, and I put a quote request in 2 weeks before Chinese New Year to get I want to get a whole range of like 11 and 12 by 2 SMT headers and 11 and 12 by 1 SMT headers, and they procrastinated for 2 weeks and then didn't send me the quote, and now they're on Chinese New Year holidays, and I had an argument with them yesterday. Where's my quote? Like, you promised me the quote. I said I needed the headers end of February, and you were going to start work on them as soon as you came back from Chinese New Year, and you haven't even sent me the quote. And now they're not going to send me the quote till the 15th of February. And there's just no way they're going to make them in time. Like, it's infuriating. So, like, I don't mean to rag on Chinese New Year, but, like, Chinese New Year used to be a 5-day holiday, and then it became a week holiday, then it became a 2-week holiday, and now companies close down 2 weeks before Chinese New Year, and then they take 2 weeks off, and then they take another 2 weeks off, and suddenly they're shut down for 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks over Chinese New Year now. And it's like, how do you get your supply chain running when, like, oh, I'm infuriated. So I did want to move all of these. What? Yes, because people need to go through all of China. What? Thanks for the links, Aaron. Appreciate that. I know, I understand that, but be transparent about it. Like, don't make me wait 2 weeks for a quote and then say, oh, sorry, you're going to have to wait now another 3.5 weeks before you can have your quote. Like, I shouldn't have to wait a month and a half to get a quote when I gave them 2 weeks before Chinese New Year just to give me, I just wanted a quote, right? So I would have paid, and I gladly would have waited the 6 weeks or whatever, or 8 weeks to get them, but now I can't even get my quote in time. And what they did is they told me the day after they broke for Chinese New Year break that they weren't going to get me the quote, and gave me no opportunity to go and speak to any other company. So they did it on purpose, right? It was manipulative. Very frustrating. Anyway, how long before someone gets around to putting PCB house in New Zealand? Wasn't there one in New Zealand, and then it's moved to Melbourne? There's one coming. They're too expensive. No one is ever going to get their PCBs manufactured in Australia. Let me tell you. I mean, 1-off, 2-off type things, I need them in a hurry. It's not worth it. It's really not. The labour costs in Australia are just horrific comparatively. Yeah, it's just not going to happen. There was. The one in New Zealand is moving to, like, it got bought by another company, and they're setting up in Melbourne, actually, I believe. And that's been going over the last 2 years, and they're still not up yet. There was a PCB manufacturing company in Melbourne that closed down a couple of years ago. They've been here for decades, right? I mean, that they got used by local companies who, they needed a 1-off 4-layer or 6-layer PCB in like 2 days really urgently for $3,000. You know what I mean? Not the type of PCB manufacturing that I need. Like, I need quantity. DigiKey don't make PCBs. I think they've got a service now where you can order PCBs through them. They'll get someone else to manufacture them, I would think. Drawling. Sorry, Fred. It's funny. Okay. Anyway, so back to here. So I need to. I don't need to say. I'm not even gonna. I'm totally distracted. I'm happy to just chat today. Totally distracted. So these are my old Tiny Pico IOs. It doesn't really even matter what they are, and I could just rename them all to be generic, as long as they all attach to each other. You can only sell manufactured parts to closed fake markets like medical and military. Okay, I'm going to stay out of the political discussions. Okay, so I need some 11 and 12 pin headers. Someone who was said in the chat earlier on about, I hope I'm using KiCAD 6. I'm only using KiCAD 6. The only reason I'm even using KiCAD is because of 6. Just to be clear, yeah, if it wasn't for, like, if there was still only 5, I wouldn't be using KiCAD. It's the changes they made in 6 that have made KiCAD, for me, usable. Okay, so I've got 11 and 12, except I'm pretty sure I've got them the wrong way around. So 12's on that side, doesn't even really matter anyway. Gonna give them footprints. Ooh, my E. So there's still a few bugs with multi-screen. Where I need to, if a window like that was opened on the other monitor, see, it sticks to it, and so it'll appear on the other screen and it appear and disappear. There's a few things they still need to work out with their multi-monitor stuff. I think it's all Mac specific, so yeah, I don't really know, but we're getting there. It's getting better. Connectors, pin. So the dilemma is, I want to use surface mount headers for this, but I haven't even got a quote on them yet, let alone have ordered them. And I have through-hole headers, but I'd rather not ship them with through-hole. I'd rather be able to pre-assemble them with low, because right now when these boards ship, they ship with their headers separate and people have to solder them on. And even though it says on the bottom, this is the bottom, people have soldered the headers on the wrong way around, which is pretty funny. What danger we have with KiCAD? No, the danger with KiCAD developers aren't actually using it for professional work themselves. But they are. They absolutely are. That's the thing. So now that doesn't necessarily mean that the way that they work is the way that other people necessarily want to work, which is why KiCAD has evolved the way it kind of has up until 6, where they changed a lot about how 6 worked and made it a lot more like conventional content tools, content creation tools. It's still not perfect yet, but it's on the way to that. Chris is on the dev list. It's bad. Okay, I don't know. The people I'm interacting with are using KiCAD in their actual day jobs, like the lead devs. But, you know, so like I'm pretty sure that the people that make, you know, or at Autodesk that were making Eagle weren't using it in their day job to make PCBs. Anyway, so I really want to go for 11 for either single or double row surface mount like this, right? And that's what I want to order. But I just don't know if I'm going to be able to get them, or if I'm going to be able to get them at a reasonable price, right? And then the other thing is, I'm also ordering at the same time, like this, the double rows. Now I've got the double row 10s, but I need 11s and 12s. And so the nice thing about if I put double rows on at least for one of the set of headers, then it means that people can also use DuPont cables to connect like a breadboard and use it as a breadboard rather than having to plug it into a breadboard. Yeah? Make a mixed footprint. No, I want to do one or the other. I I don't want to put through hole in it, and I want to be able to supply them pre-assembled. So I think what I'm going to do is, oh, whoops, that's got to be the 12. See, it opened up on the wrong window again. Okay, that one is the 12. And sometimes the doesn't want to, yep, okay. And there's some selection issues in KiCAD 6 at the moment that have gone a little bit backwards. Hey James. Yep, everyone, well, I don't know, I'm well. I hope everyone else is well. Why use those rather than through hole? Because I don't want to, I'm not going to solder them all in for people. And it means other people have to solder them in, where if I use surface mount, I can assemble them. There's going to be surface mount assembly on the boards anyway. I can pre-assemble them and ship them, and then users don't have to solder them, and I don't have to solder them. Through hole let you stack or flip things as needed. No, there's no flipping. There's no flipping headers on these boards. They have to be oriented one way only. That was my joke. That was what I said before. It says on the bottom of the thing, this is the bottom, yet people were putting the headers on the wrong way around. Plus I don't have to supply, well, yeah, I'd still supply printed feet for use with the through hole prototyping area. So it's mainly manufacturing reasons. Yeah, I don't want to, I'm not soldering the headers on. I hate hand soldering. And I don't have a machine, and I can't afford or justify buying a soldering machine. Through hole scratches the desk. It doesn't matter, isn't it, when I put my 3D printed feet on them. Update. Why didn't that update? Update. That's fine. Warning, no signal for that. Okay. But it hasn't brought my headers in. Railing footprints. Those errors are fine. It should be bringing them in, and it's not. Oh, here we go. I'm not fancy for those, but I'm not really the target customer. Yeah, there's nothing wrong. I want to sunburn Sion's neck. You want to what? Hang on. Someone asked me a question further back. Maybe not. What's wrong with using surface mount headers for these? I don't understand. Like, I get that the single row ones aren't quite as maybe as mechanically strong. The double row runs are. I'm just deleting those. Pull, annotate, update, and it's not bringing them in. Have you tried pin in paste for through hole? Yeah, I can't do pin in paste, or I can't do it on my assembly line. I can't put that through my oven. So that's not going to help me. And then having them stay still and vertical is not great. It's fine when you're doing 1-offs or 2-offs by hand, but not really. If you can use the SMD headers that have the location bumps, that they can be harder to source though. What do you mean location bumps? As in the alignment ones? They tear off easily. They shouldn't tear off if they've been soldered correctly. I mean, I'm worried about the single row ones, but like, where's my... Like, if you look at these, my double row surface mount headers, like, geez, I don't know how I'm gonna, like, I'm flexing the PCB. It's a 1.6mm PCB and I'm flexing it. Like, how, I don't get how you'd rip them off. But they've got to be soldered well. Yeah, I don't see how you'd rip them off. The taller ones maybe would be harder, but like I use these, I get these custom low profile ones made. And that's the other thing as well. So if you look at this, I mean, I can get custom low profile through hole, but I don't want to spend money on doing those and still have to solder them. If you look at the height difference, so from a packaging, I don't want to pre-solder these and have to ship something that's this wide where these can be flexed, right? But a lower profile and no holes at the back means that I can solder them and ship them much easier. Are you thinking 3 pairs, 2x8 SMD headers? Well, I'm thinking at least a double row and a single row. So a board and one add-on. Yeah, alignment can be a problem with them, for sure. Like getting the alignment straight and shifting. The double row headers seem to align much better than the single row ones. First, they can be very fragile. Second, you can put stuff in on the backside where you might need. Second, you can put stuff on the backside where you might need to for space convenience. What do you mean? Back? I don't want any of this to be double-sided. I'm not sure what you mean. I was wondering, will wires within the pads used for mechanical strength help prevent ripping them off? Possibly. How many insertion cycles are they good for? Have no idea. Way more than people are going to use them for. I would say. Okay, I'm just going to go full bore. There we go. And get rid of them. I didn't want to, and I have to remember to turn that off again. I just don't like using that feature. Okay, so wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that's not, wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, okay. That just looks really big. But yeah, I guess that's right. Yep, okay. So where are my singles? I don't understand. Now it's not finding my singles. Why is it that every time I do stuff on stream with KiCAD, I get problems? Right, I didn't even know there's a right, left. Why would that matter? You just flip them around, I would have thought. Okay, anyway. That's the 11. I don't know if I did right or left on that one. See, it's not bringing them in. Right, just swap those ones. Must have given it the same name. That's okay. I'll have to reline them up again. Yeah. Hole is a lot easier to replace after buggering. What do you mean after buggering? Yeah, I don't want to print them in TPU, Mike. Printing in TPU sucks. You can't plug them from the bottom side if there's no holes underneath to do that. No. So you need holes in the board as well. First one running into compatibility between the usual software and OBS as far as I know. No, I don't think this is OBS specific. Well, maybe, I don't know. So the thought is that if I did a double, it's interesting, so that the centers makes it really hard to align. So this is designed to align in the center, which is absolutely not what I want. So 1.27 for the grid. And then I need to space them apart, which is fine. Did shear by the what? So I was thinking if there was a double row, so you could also put DuPont cables in, and that's where the tiny whatever board would go. And then I could use singles for like one set of singles or two set of singles for whatever shields, and I'm hoping there'll be more shields coming out this year as well. Like I've got some ideas on some new shields, and I know that like Mike's possibly going to do something. No Discord bot today, sorry, just YouTube, and no laser today. The printed bumper is a nice touch, but if you wanted something cheap and easy, stick-on rubber feet are a thing. I know they are, but these 3D printed feet are also pretty easy. I can print 40 of them at a time on the printer. It doesn't take very long. Make them all double row. Sure. The problem with making them all double row is they take up way more space, and they cost a lot more. So, you know, that's also something to consider. Okay, so I need to work out the spacing, which is, never remember, where's my ruler? I'm pretty sure it's just 5 pin headers. Where's my measure tool? So the other thing is they're not showing you where the pinholes are, which is really annoying on here. I'm quite surprised that on these footprints there's no markings in any of the layers for where the holes are. I mean, you can just assume that they're right here, but I'd rather not assume. Like, I'd rather know where they were. Like, I would have thought there would have been a hole on each one and show you exactly where they are. That's what I would have thought on these. I have a PCB design that I want to plug an SSD13 display into the back side of my board as low as possible. Sure, you can do that. And the Pico go in the center and the shields on each side for best signal. No. Define best signal. Maybe just populate the TP location with SMT double row and include single row for people to solder in as needed. SMT over through hole SMT headers are much more expensive, but I get custom headers on all of them. 2x8 headers, so you can introduce fat shields. That's also interesting. Double row. Ugh. What is going on? I just edited this footprint and saved it, and it didn't update. What version of KiCAD am I using? 6.01? Yep, 6.01 release build. Look, and now it's here, but it wasn't. So my fab layer is turned on, but it's not showing. Maybe I got something turned off. Text. License are off. That's really bizarre. I think something is wrong. Something's wrong with my file. Or something's wrong with KiCAD. Yeah, because look at that. Fab is turned on. If I turn it off and turn it back on, now the holes are gone again. But we just saw the holes there a minute ago. What is going on? Oh, if I select it, if I select the layer, maybe there's something going on with my layers. Show all layers. Yeah, that's not right. On is on, off is off. Switch FCU. Well, I don't want to switch. Okay, so you're saying that if I'm on a different layer that's over the top of it, but it shouldn't be. Right. Okay. So it's just a hierarchy thing. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, that's really. I thought that was you swearing as well. Hey, DIY in the ghetto. Okay, so I'm assuming that's where the holes are, but I could be wrong. And there's no guide on this. That's the problem with doing a... Okay, I'm going to stick some single row headers in. Where is it? Pin header 1x11. That is not, that was wrong pitch. That was 1mm pitch. Let's go to 2.4, 1x11, just so I can use it as a guide. Yeah, see, I got the hole in the wrong spot, I would assume. Okay, put the footprint to check the spacing, physical. Yeah, I'll do that at the end. Okay, so then I want to, if I go back to 2.54 grid, interesting. So this is not on 2.54. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is the width I want, and then, okay. So that's going to be the width of those two headers. So I grab that one and that one, and I'm going to group them. So they're grouped together now. Okay, cool. Hi, Tracy? Who's Tracy? What? Say on, please say hello to my... Oh, hello, Tracy. Hi, Tracy. I hope Ian's behaving himself. Okay, so now I can just do the same thing, get this aligned on there and one there. And I can group those. Okay, so now I've got two sets of headers grouped, and I can get rid of these. Bye. And the headers are spaced out multiple of 2.54. They will fit regardless where the pins on the footprint are. Right, but I want the headers to be, there's no point having the board sitting on the outside headers and then you can't get access to the inside ones because the board's in the way. Right, so I want the board to sit like this over there, so you've got access to the outside pins. Okay, so we want this to be as close up to the edge here. Actually, I don't want that there. I want the JST connector on that side. So JST there, that's where the VBAT is, and then I don't know how many single row headers. Like I can't decide how many people might be using, like how many shields they might be putting down. So we are going to need a prototyping area, and my current prototyping shield has got, again, hard to know how useful it is, but I've got just a set of ground pins on the side and 3.3 volt pins on the side there, and then focus, thank you, obviously the headers on the side, and then just nothing in the middle. I want to break out 3.3 volts, 5 volts and ground, and then I want to break out the I2C pins as header pins as well, and then possibly do all the normal pins as header pins. So I probably shouldn't have got rid of those. Oh no, that's fine. So, like, how big an area for prototyping do people think is going to be useful? Yeah, probably don't want to use a wire. So, having some edge connectors for test points would be nice. Edge connectors for test points. For what though? This is just a. You got to remember where this is targeted to. Like, who's going to do edge connectors and test points for what? They're not building a product out of this. This is a. I just realized I haven't changed back. This is just a convenient way of putting a couple of shields together and doing a little bit of prototyping, adding a button or adding, you know, a couple of other things. Yeah, like doing card edge. This is not what wrong target market, Chris. Yeah. Prototype area as big as possible. If you click on any editor's name, footprint editor on KiCAD main window, it will copy the string into the clipboard. Oh really? That's weird. Nice Grid C 8-channel I/O expander with a few buttons. But you can clip your scope leads just to normal through hole holes, or to header pins or whatever. I don't have I/O expanders. Like, I don't even think I can get any I/O expanders at the moment. Has anyone seen any stock of I/O expanders at a reasonable price? And then obviously, yeah, no stock of the MCP 23008 on LCSC. Let's try DigiKey. Chip shortage, yeah. It's a pain in the backside. Oh, they got some. $1.50 each. And a tube. Don't like tubes. No tubes. $1.30 on a reel. We've got 40. Got none of the QFNs. Right, well, I don't want dip. And I really don't want soik. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at, the 23008. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different ones. How about an SPI to I2C parallel shift register? What for, Chris? So, yeah, we've gone from... So, this is my original. You just put 3 shields on it. That's it. I just want to expand this to allow people to put a prototyping area. I'm not trying to make an everything all-in-one that does everything you ever need for everyone. That's not what this is. This thing is for. Like, SPI to I2C parallel shift register is something that no one would use in the space of the people using this stuff. Like, if you need something like that, you'd have dedicated hardware for something like that. Just so you can do a bunch of chip selects. But the chip selects won't work because the modules have predefined, the shields have predefined chip selects. Some extra RGB LEDs, 7 segments. Well, you can stick an RGB shield on it. You can stick a LOL RGB shield on to get lots of LEDs. Like, again, I'm not trying to make a one shield that has all my shields built into it. That's not what the purpose of this is. So, like, I get the whole being able to, you know, do a... So here's, yeah. Lots of people have good ideas for their own boards. Exactly. Lots of people have good ideas for that. Thank you, Dave. That's really well said. Like, you know, I could possibly see the idea of an I/O expander, but not really. Like, I've got an I/O expander shield. Like, if you really need lots of I/O, where's my I/O expander shield? Oh, so what happened is my shelves here fell over, and all my stuff fell off, and I've yet to clean up and put it all away because I'm avoiding it. But I have an I/O expander shield here somewhere. I had an I/O expander shield. Like, once again, if you need, at least break out the CS lines so they can be patched. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I'm not sure I agree. So that's my, oh my god, wrong camera. That's my I/O expander shield. I mean, obviously without the headers soldered on. And you got extra, you got a 12-bit ADC, you've got 16 IO, you've got level shift, 3 pins level shifted, you've got an SD card. I mean, I don't want to take half of this and stick it on here. Like, there's already options. I've already got solutions for a lot of this stuff. Is my IO expander shield in my product list? I don't even know. Anyway, so I'm not trying to eliminate my other shields. Okay, right, I'm just, yeah. Yeah, like I don't, like a 16 pin IO expander on it is not worth me doing. A smaller one for adding some buttons, maybe, but then, you know, people have to run different drivers, different libraries to be able to talk to it. It's kind of foreign compared to just doing their IO directly. Wow, these are expensive. Two of the same. What was that? Well, the only reason you'd put two of the same would be 2 screens, and that's a pretty niche thing. What else? What else are you going to do 2 of the same shields for? Why would you stick 2 of the same RTC shield on your board? Like, my shields are designed to not share CS pins. What's the point of the I2, 3? Oh, just people suggesting things to put on this board. How would someone choose which shield they're taking to if they have to say to IO? Sorry, how would someone choose which shield they're talking to if they say have 2 IO expanders? What do you mean? The IO expander doesn't go on the shield, on that thing. A tiny Pico goes into an IO expander. It's not designed to have shields plugged into it. Or it's not designed to have 2 IO expanders on a tiny Pico. That's, if you need 32 extra IO on your microcontroller, yeah, you need a dedicated product. You need a dedicated board. Like, these are the wrong products for you to be playing with if that's what you need. There are other expanded from LCSC in stock. Yeah, there are. I like the MCP stuff. I've got stacks of library support for it. Adafruit have got built-in library support for it for CircuitPython and whatever. So, what, the IO expander can't be used with this new board? No, it couldn't be used with the other one either. But why would you? Again, it's pretty dedicated. Well, it can be used. So, I mean, once again, to go to this extreme is crazy, but there's no reason why you couldn't take the back of this off. Yeah, this also comes with a nice 3D printed foot. It is intended for general prototyping, Chris. Just not by you. Intended for general prototyping by the maker community. The maker community, not hardcore electronics people. Okay? So, for instance, I could get a tiny Pico. Where did I just put my tiny Pico that I took off a second ago? A tiny Pico could go into this board. Yeah, and could, I mean, if you use the headers that come with the tiny Pico, the stacking headers, and could go in here, and you're covering up one of the slots, and there's an IO expander on the shield. But again, if you're needing to do this, then you're designing your project wrong. Right? Like, this is a helper. It's a helper. It's not a solution to every combination of everything. It's just a helper. Okay, now I don't remember which way that goes on. Pretty sure it's that way. Okay. Let's get back to it. Okay, in the bag, AW. No, it's not the intent. It's a helper board. It's a way for you to be able to easily plug a few shields together, maybe solder on a couple of buttons or something, and have something that you can play with. Yeah, I've not heard of that one, Bruce. I'm sure there are stacks of different ones out there. I mean, that's nice and cheap. So they got support for this one, do they? 16 port I squared. That's pretty cheap. Okay, and they got them in stock. I have a few double and triple feather boards. Right. Do you ever feel like you want to have prototyping area on them? Are the 3D feet STLs available? No, but I could put them online, I guess. Okay, cool. Standard Food's got support for that chip as well. Okay, it's just convenient. Yep. Okay, thanks, Bruce. Right, you've never had the need really to do that, right? Yeah. Prototype on other boards, right? Most people prototype on breadboards, but there are sometimes breadboards, as we know, are just terrible ways to prototype. Okay, 1x12. Actually, I didn't even need to do that. I could have just done it here directly. 1 by... Don't like how it pre-opens them all. Anyway, 1 by 10 vertical. What is the bandwidth limit of a breadboard? Wouldn't know. You couldn't define it as a bandwidth limit. What would it take to allow 2 tiny picos to coexist? Don't know. Not a use case I'm kind of interested in. Why would you ever want to have 2 tiny picos connected to the same board? My number one request is for new paste shield, larger pin labels front. Yeah, you're not getting any pin labels, Mike. Pin labels are not going to be on this board because all the pin numbering is different across all the boards. So you're actually going to have 0 pin numbering now compared to the last one, not larger. Edit text and graphics. Turn all those off. Thank you. Flips desk. Well, how are you going to do it? I'm not going to make one of these for each board type, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Forget about the square pins. So that's like 60 holes here, right? And then if we had a however long if there was a set of, yeah, probably want these ones to be 1 by 9, maybe 1 by 8. Okay. So that's going to be too many. Change the footprint. Actually, is it too late for me to undo that? Oh, damn it. Damn it, damn it. I could have done them all in one hit. I keep forgetting I can do that in KiCAD. Can't do it in Eagle. Change footprint. I want that one to be 1/8. Can't find 1/8. What is it? You should label the rows though, like row A, B, so you know which row is connected to which. Sure, to do that. Burned a bunch of LEDs with it before I learned it was taking too long to put it into driver mode. Interesting. We want a super tiny Pico cluster to mine crypto. Yeah. One running user interface, one running real time. But that's a terrible way of doing stuff with two development boards. Like, that's, again, not what you'd want to be doing. Like, again, like, how niche is what you're suggesting, Chris? Like, we seem to have a lot of... friction is not the right word, but you and I seem to have a lot of disagreements on, you know, you say you should be doing this, you should be doing this, and I'm going, no, I shouldn't be, I should be doing this. Like, context is important here, right? And marketplace, like target market is important. Like what you're suggesting, right, you want it for mining. Well, ESP32s are not great for mining, I wouldn't have thought, but whatever. But why would you be using tiny Picos for that? You wouldn't be. Like, you'd be using cheaper stuff or whatever. But again, like that, like that's the nichest of niche. The nichest of niche. And that's what I'm trying to explain. It's not even close to the target market for this type of stuff. Mining in the dirt. Yes, I understand. Mineral mining, gold mining. I've got a mate who runs a gold mine. Literally. 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 64 holes there. And then if we did I'll fix what they look like later. I'm gonna lock that. Always forget to lock my copper zones. So KiCAD is a really cool feature where when you select some stuff and you want to move it and you want to lock it to just one axis, what you can do is you can hit M to move and then hit the keyboard. I want to skip the lock item. You can then hit the keyboard in a direction, so to the right, and now I'm locked moving just to the right, which is really nice. Super handy to not move things in the wrong direction. Hey Robin. Okay, but again, you're picking the wrong products to build that from then. That is not the market of people that would be using a tiny picker like that, is all I'm trying to explain. So, and same with duplicate. I hit Command D to duplicate. If I hit the arrow, it now is locked for movement, which is really nice. So they are not going to fit easily. I need to get rid of all the reference things. Edit text and graphics. Include selected. And make them not visible. Good. So this board's going to have to be a bit bigger. But if this was like... let's say that was like a 5 volt rail. That was a 3.3 volt rail. Bit worried about having them next to each other. Maybe it should be ground, or maybe it needs to be 5 volt and ground, and then on the other side 3.3 volt and ground. Yeah, the axis lock is really cool, really handy, I gotta say. Like really handy. It got me out of some really interesting situations, I gotta say. That things that used to be really painful, and especially the Command D and then arrows like that. Like that's just really nice as well. Okay, so if and then if this was ground, ground, 5 volt, proto, 3 volt, ground. Would you do the grounds on the outside or the inside? You're prototyping, right, but you wouldn't be prototyping with something like this. You wouldn't be prototyping with one of these things with, like, yeah. And again, super niche, what you're doing. Would be a good use case, be something like a plant moisture sensor prototype, RTC board, maybe a screen, and then the sensor itself attached to the prototyping area or something. Sure, yeah. Or, I mean, the sensor might be an I2C sensor. It might be like, it might have a stemmer connector. So you could just connect the sensor to one of the stemmers that'll be on there. Like, I don't want to deliberately limit what can be done with it, but by the same token, I have to be realistic about what is niche and what's not niche for the sake of what you know, like this will just turn into, I don't want to turn this into my Explorer shield. Do you want the power rails parallel to the long side? Even a weather station would require more than one board of the same type. Why? Like what? What do you mean? I don't understand why it would require that. There are plenty of weather stations that are built on an ESP32 and a screen and some sensors. And they don't need 2 ESP32s, and they don't need 2 screens, and they don't need... I don't intend for this to be used for anything specific. It's up to the user. But I'm suggesting that this is a helper, and that you need to look at the project ideas you're coming up with, and the second you say, I need to put 2 tiny picos on there, or 2 ESP32s, I'm saying that is, you've shifted your project into the 1% or less of the marketplace. Instantly you've done that. I've made 2 boards with prototype area, both had 5 volt left and 3 volt right, and the ground on the horizontal sides. On the horizontal. Oh, okay. So, well, that would make it narrower. So you mean this. So if I put them here, like a ground there, top and bottom, is that what you meant? I mean, I can put more grounds in. Like, there's no reason why I can't just do... Why that can't be a ground as well. Right, and then why this one, why I can't do that here as well. Like, they could also be ground. So lots of ground. Lots of ground is probably good. I mean, do we need 8 5 volt pins and 8 3.3? I don't know. I mean, the board's getting quite big. That's a bigger prototyping area than I was thinking about. Like 64 pins, that's... But yeah. It'll work, for sure. No, not everyone uses I2C for everything, but Adafruit have been doing a really good job, oops, of making sure that all of their modules and stuff use I2C. So, you know, it's are they the best modules to be necessarily using for every project? Maybe not, but again, for their target market, which is the beginner, maker, non-necessarily tech or electronic savvy people, it's a perfect fit. It's plug and play, right? It's going to kill the sales of existing Proto Shield. I'll be happy for it to kill the sales of my... I mean, I don't sell very many at all of those anyway. You got to remember how long they've been out for. The no solder market. Yeah, or it's not so much the no solder market. That's some of it, but it's also hang on. Let me move this up. So it's aimed at the adafruit customer demographic, they're not people wanting for prototype for products. Depends on the product, but again, I don't know. You're the one trying to pigeonhole where this is for, and I'm not. Design taking length of board in consideration for multiple panels that you can fit onto your conveyor and in your oven. I normally do, but I need to know what this is going to fit in first. Like, I'd rather this is a wider board than a square board. Well, I2C pins will be broken out, oops, just on the double row header anyway for DuPont cables. But yeah, I wouldn't mind breaking out I2C pins, maybe, I guess. But Chris, if your needs are complex and clearly your skills are there, why, like, you should be designing a $4 PCB that allows you to put on it whatever you need to put on it that's specific to what you need, right? That's the thing. That's, yeah. 4 holes, 5 volt, 4 holes, 3.3, 8 holes ground, and bigger proto area maybe. Really? I'm just trying to think what would people put on the proto area that would be convenient. Like, I haven't even decided, like, am I going to do them in rows? Like, you know, would I join, oops, these together, these ones and these ones, do it more, make it look more like a breadboard? Like, would that be more convenient? So someone could stick like a chip inside it or something? Okay, so you can do that on a breadboard though, right? You know, like a good quality breadboard. Like, you buy yourself some of these. I can't, what is that? You buy yourself some of these. I can't remember the brand name. Rob, do you remember the brand name? Actually, this is an extra one I bought from IRS Components. I think it was IRS. But you buy one of these really, really good quality breadboards and you do it on that, right? If you really need plenty of expandability and space. Right, or you use solderable ones, like you use prototyping shields, you know, prototyping boards, whatever. So like the Makerverse stuff from Core Electronics, let me show you. Like, they've made a really nice one. Core Electronics, excuse me. Where's their Makerverse shop? Makerverse. So they've done like these ones, like you know, these are really nice. Look at that. These are full-on prototyping boards. PCB-less parts. Yeah, we're talking a couple of months lead here. Why a couple of months? You can design a PCB, pay $4 US, and get it in like 4 days, or plus your shipping, and get it in like 4 days. Cool components. Which ones are the cool components ones? I think they're the same. Yeah, they're the same as what I've got, the AD12. So what I showed you was one section of that. They're amazing breadboards, really top quality breadboards. None of the Chinese rubbish, square hole rubbish. They're round holes. They really have good solid connections. But if you want PCB, then you know you do that. Look at that. I mean, there's already options out there. I'm not expecting. This is not designed for someone that needs all this space to be able to do all this stuff. So anyway, that's again, I'm not trying to solve that. Yeah, they're good. They're good boards. So you say don't short them, just leave them loose. That's all. Yeah, okay. So if I got rid of the grounds on this side, I still like the idea of having more of those, and then if I could so H19, was it, I don't know how many I could fit now, was it 12? No. It was 11. Okay. So I could go from 8 to 11 by 8. So that's an extra 24 holes. Yeah, the eBay ones are terrible. Why not creating a variant that is built like these power supplies for breadboards? What do you mean a variant that's built like that? I mean, there are already solutions out there for that. Like, I don't need a power supply for a breadboard. This is a... You mean this plugs into a breadboard and becomes a power supply? Well, ground pins are handy. Maybe not power, but doing less power is not going to be overly useful. Like, is having all this prototyping area but losing an extra spot for a tiny Pico or tiny S3, is that worth it? Like, that's what I'm trying to work out right now. Like, number of people that'll use a prototype area, a large prototype area, versus number of people that would want a second row for extra headers. So you reckon 4 and 4. I don't know about the 4 and 4 though. Do you still need an I/O row? How would one connect something on the prototype area to I/Os on the TP? Well, that's why I've got the double row header here. So that way you could put a wire from the second row to here if you needed to. Or I can break out, I can put like all the I/O down here as well, but I'm losing prototype. Like, this is already getting really long. Like, I gotta be careful how long I make it. I'm not gonna be able to ship it. It's gonna be bigger than the bag. I'll just have another set of headers instead and create a dedicated proto hole board. Well, that's what I've got right now. That's what I've currently got, but I don't know if having them separate is useful. I'm gonna have to change this. Yeah, this is getting long. Let's move that out of the way for the moment. Problem is, labeling this is going to be difficult. So if they're the broken out pins for the, then proto holes around those rows. What? Feel more useful to have the proto board separate as you can replace it. So I'm just reading backwards. Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to go to a separate prototyping board that you'd plug in like a shield, like I've already got right now, then that's the same as what I've currently got now, and there's no point changing it. All I need to do is take my existing 3-up shield and make them 11 and 12 pin headers, not 10 pin headers, so they support the Tiny S2, Tiny S3. And then that's all I have to do, right? And then maybe, and make maybe a new version of the prototype board that's longer. That's it, right? I mean, then all of this that I'm doing right now is kind of pointless if the prototyping is going to be a separate shield. About connecting the proto holes like it was through shield. People could solve it through all headers. I know that's what you're saying, Aaron, but that's kind of what I've already got now. So what's the point? Like, the idea was to take 2 products and turn it into one that would be more useful. That could have a bigger, better prototyping area mapped out for it. Because the other option is just, like, as I said, to go back to what it was before, right? If I got rid of edit, lock it, and so if I get rid of all this, right, and then just, you know, assuming I stay with the through hole, and even if I get rid of the singles, right, and then I just go right, I've got that, and I've got that, and then I stick a, you know, a quick connector, maybe, you know, 2 quick connectors on here, one here, another one here, and then there's something, and that's it, right? So here's my new board, my new 3-up board. Isn't it if you make a board that has your board plus 2 clickboards sockets on it? About it, they wire that you support clickboards, free advertising. Yeah, I know the clickboards. No, I know the clickboards, yep. Right, assuming that I have them compatible. Right, and right now my, you know, it's like with my Grove shield, right? Like the reason I'm not putting Grove connectors on here is because Grove is kind of popular, but 1% of stemmer. So why would I put 2 RGB LEDs and 2 buttons on it though? And what would the buttons be connected to? And what would the RGB LEDs be connected to? Like I'm taking up I/O. I'm locking people into I/O. Right, Grove is Grove is not I2C. It's Grove is lots of things in the same connector. It's UART, it's I2C, it's just what's it? There's a third one. Yeah, Grove is not just I2C. It's multiple. Stemmer and Quick are just I2C. But the point of the connectors, though, they're massive connectors, and right, you never know what's connected on a Grove, and they do a very bad job. They do a good job of the female on the device saying what it is, and a very bad job of the male connector letting you know what you can plug in and what doesn't. To I put the wire we want. Just use it to test. To test what though? I don't understand. What about filling the board with holes, but have marked set that is wired together as you would do with the headers? Because they're gonna solder everything in the wrong spot and make a mess of it and then break it and then complain to me. That's why, Alexander. And if you don't believe that's a thing, you should design and make your own products, and then you'll know it is a thing and it is painful. Yes, you don't give that much flexibility, because if you do, you end up having to fix everyone's mistakes. Oh, come on. Oh, that's nasty. Anyway, maybe you could also offer a cable system assemblies. One plug on the helper board. I don't want to have to worry about cables and connectors and how do I do that and what do I offer people and where do I get them from and how many do I order and what's if I don't get the right configuration and blah blah blah. And what about RS485? What about it? Don't solder it. The user can do that if they need to. Don't solder what? Put RGB LED header pins there, but don't solder them, how are they going to solder, what, with an iron for under the pad? Yeah, no, don't want to do that. Put these on and it'll look even 16. Yeah, I mean, that's... I'm not sure sexy is the right definition there, but it's pretty cool. I like that they're surface mount. Right, but having just one socket is not enough. I need to put multiple sockets on. Yeah. Right, if you want RS485, buy a module, buy an adapter. I'm not sticking it on the board. If you want, well, the Tiny Pico's already got CAN bus. The ESP32 has CAN bus. If you want RS485, put a shield on their board. I'm not putting 485 on here. That's not what this is for. Yeah, black and SMD, absolutely. But I don't have those. Right, if you want RS485, buy a clipboard or buy a module or buy a, you know, again. Know what this is for? This is a helper, not a solution. So if I, yeah. I don't know. What's the lowest profile headers that accept a Tiny Pico? I don't know. Mine are 5mm headers. People want click. Well, you could always make a shield. You could make a Tiny Pico shield that has a click connector on it. Joking is hard in text mode. Well, all of my boards have an RGB LED on it, so why would you need an RGB LED? And sure, buttons, but then what buttons are going to be? Make something that fit directly. That'd be slick. Yeah, send me the KiCAD footprint and I'll load it up in here and see how big it is. Pads and holes by 3. What is it? Pads and holes by 3. Hey Pierre, I don't understand what the question is. I like my Tiny Pico blade idea. I may look into it. What idea? I like my Tiny Pico blade. What is a Tiny Pico blade idea? What did I miss? Aaron? I missed something. Right, but again, putting buttons on and then locking them into a particular I/O, again, that's what a prototyping area would be for. Maybe V in ground plus pin. Well, I don't need to design a Tiny Pico shield with CAN because the Tiny Pico supports CAN. Well, okay. Sure. You know, other people can design shields. The shield is open source standard, you know. Tiny Pico blade, which could be a board with a PCB edge connector and headers to accept either Tiny Pico or shield. could connect into a giant proto board and accept multiple edge connectors. So I already have I designed at the very start. My Nano originally was an edge connector board. So my Tiny Pico Nano was a slot in thing. So very problematic. Yeah. So unless you're going to do like an M.2 format, you can't get enough pins. You can't get the pin density to do it unless it's massive, right? Like you can't get footprint in Discord. Cool, hang on. Okay, footprint is downloads, KiCAD, libraries, microbus, microbus. By the way, that's what's awesome about KiCAD. Doing this in Eagle would have been an absolute pain in the background. Pain in the ass. Yeah, see, look at the size of it. That is huge. Huge. Wow. Like, really, wow. Actually, can I put this back on? Hopefully, good. Yeah, okay. Override locks. Okay, you can go. Wow, this is going to have to be much bigger to fit this in. That is not huge. That is huge. That is bigger than the footprint of my Tiny Pico or my Tiny S3. That is huge, dude. I'm not saying there isn't bigger, but that is huge. It's all relative. Put it on the flip side. No. How does it sit on the table if you put it on the flip side? Single-sided. Use the long edge, not the short edge. Use the long, I don't understand what you're talking about. 72 pin. The long edge of what? A connector, a plug-in connector. How big is this board now? Approximately. Whoa, 100 millimeters. 100 millimeters. Jeez. Can I even fit that in a bag? Maybe. Yeah. Okay, I can make it a bit bigger. Can go up to 120. Cold coffee. Okay, so we have some options. How bodies might be able to write about the space between stemmer connectors. How close can they be and still user friendly? Oh, that's not locked in. That's just temporarily there. 4 up. No, that wouldn't make sense. I don't want it wider. No, I don't want to do a big square pick. That doesn't, yeah. And 4-up's not necessary. Again, I think a lot of people would use 2 shields. I was going to go 2-up. I think a lot fewer people would use 3. I think the number of people with 4, requirement of 4 would be a very tiny use case. I'm guessing, but yeah. Two shields, 2 micro. Shields can be stacked, but there's no point. Like, most of the shields need to be on top. Semiconductors on the long side of the PCB. Your prototype area would have more space. On the long side. So I don't understand. Not really. Yeah, I saw the 4-up, Mark. Mark's posting pictures in here of, it's a single, and here's a 4-up. I mean, look at the size of it. But you're allowed to use microbus as long as you use that footprint. Oh, really? Make it the shield. Just make a prototype board with the same footprint as the S3 you want. Because that's what I've already got, as I said, Kevin. Like, that's what this would be then. That's why I did this, right? Here's my original shield idea, but surface mount with double row headers for stability, and so you can put DuPont wires in if you want to, and stemmer connectors and a JST connector, and that's it, right? And then I'm back to doing a separate prototype board. I was trying to get them all in one. I was trying to take 2 products and turn it into one. The 4-up is a universal prototype board, something that certain people in this stream could do with using. What does that mean? Yeah, I've already got that solution. Like, I'm trying to, well, first, my current solution is for a tiny Pico, not for S2 or S3 board. It doesn't have the extra pins broken out, which is why I'm doing this anyway. But I just thought, but like, this prototyping area is becoming way bigger than I originally thought it would be. Yeah, I know, Mark. I'm still trying to work out who that's targeted for. The quick connector is interesting, but I'm assuming they have to be hand assembled, right? They wouldn't come in a, like, how would they come? Altium libraries, Eagle libraries, interesting. Yes, I figured that one, Mark. I figured that. But that's not what Chris wants it. He wants to do multiple microcontroller boards on it. I still feel like what do we need such a huge prototyping area for? But so these can't be spaced out to be like this. Group. Like, they can't be spaced out like that, because then we lose all the prototyping area. And I don't even know if that's the right size. I should, not that one. That one. So I'm just grabbing something to that. So is this the right? Yeah, they don't look like the right. They're not the right width apart. I didn't think they were. Yeah, it needs to be much wider. Group. Actually, just you can all POQ. POQ. Okay, and let's group that. Okay. Oh, what's up there? Something's hidden. Oh well. Yeah, this spacing is totally wrong. Into the group. And that needs to be there. Right, that completely changes everything. So that's why I thought it was weird that there were no holes on these headers. Very weird. Oh, it's not going to let me do that. Interesting. I've lost my chat. How about putting a set of solder bridges between each header pins and the signal lines so they can be broken out individually or bust? Because it's not what people are going to want to do with this thing. It's too complicated. They want to grab 3 boards or 2 boards and plug them in and have them work. Once again, wrong target market. I have to go. See, I don't know where the center of this thing is. It's really annoying. That is where the headers are. So these are much further apart. Yeah, this is going to be huge, this board. Yeah. Back to the size with the micro bus bit. Well, the 3-hole version is more compact because it's a single row header. It's not really the size of the feet here, it's the double row header. Okay, single row header, that's different. Like, yes, it'd be more compact, but you've only got a single row of pins, where here you've got double row. That's what I had up here. Like, the solution for that is here. Oops. So here's your single rows. Let me just get that out of the way. I mean, that takes up a lot less space, right? Because they're only single rows. So I'm saving 6 header rows. For my own products, you're basically making this, but for the tiny Pico land. Simple. Explains why they did it on that site. Open a new window. Where'd that go? Pico Omnibus. But I've already got that. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is not new. Like, I had this product before they had that product. I'm not saying they copied me. Like, I'm just saying, like, my 3-up shield came out two years ago. So this one, I wanted to add on stemmer connectors, JST connector for batteries, so you didn't have to put one on the bottom of the board. And then potentially I was looking at making a prototyping area on it. So instead of doing 3-up, I was going to do a 2-up with a prototyping area. It'll come with feet. Well, it depends on what it is, right? Whether it's going to have through hole or not. But no, I'm not making it double-sided, Robin. That'll increase my production costs and time unnecessarily. And then having connectors on the bottom means that they're hard to get to for people. And also, saving space isn't the issue. Like, that would be really inconvenient, having them on the bottom. I used to make double-sided boards. I'm now a big fan of never, ever, ever doing double-sided ever again, unless it's 100% necessary. Yeah, so you look at this, right? I mean, this is just my current board, right? Except, obviously, longer. Longer as in this way for the RP2040. But again, it's missing some really important things, like there's no way of connecting a battery to it. There's, unless you stick a stemmer shield on it, there's no way of connecting any stemmer stuff to it or anything. Hey, Dave. Still think through-hole headers on one side and SMT stuff on the other. What do you mean on one side? Right, you mean having one set of headers for SMT and then the rest through hole. Is that what you mean? We're going to run out of space at some point. Interesting, I've got these the other way around. That's actually quite funny. Group. So you mean just like I had before, where you just have through hole. And ship it with headers and let them put it on, right? Do you P&P my headers? These ones can be pick and placed, yes. Depends how they ship to me. Hey, Death Shaker. What connector does KiCAD use for stemmer? What do you mean? It's just an SH connector, JST SH connector. So you mean like that, Chris? What do you mean on the opposite sides? Allow mounting 2 to 3 boards on the opposite side. Do you mean opposite side like this side and that side? Yeah? No. That's pointless. That's like stacking gone wrong. That's like stacking where you've got different orientations of boards. Yeah, that's disaster. With mounting 1 or 2 of the microbus connectors on the SMT. Yeah, no, not doing that. Sorry. You can do that if you want. That's a disaster waiting to happen. An absolute disaster. Yeah. Single-sided. One side. Single-sided. And this conversation just goes to show that everyone needs different things, and it's impossible to make one board that works for everyone, right? And that's okay. I'm okay with that. But yeah, they're just things that are like if other people want to go and make a board like that, 2 sides, whatever. But I'm not doing that. Simple board with your tiny footprint. 2 clipboard connectors. Well, that's a separate product, Mark. Like doing a one with 2 click connectors for Tiny Pico, that's a click board. That's not this board. This, like, click is not my ecosystem. So having a board that has 1 or 2 click connectors on it, fine. That's a separate product to this, right? I still need to make a solution for me and for my shields and my board. So for instance, a Pro S3 can plug into this and use the, I mean, it'll hang off the edge, right? Like that, but it'll use the Tiny Pico shields. The most recent version has no benefit to your target audience in my option. In my opinion, people want to piss around soldering headers. Yeah, as a separate thing, sure. So as a... Again, it's still got to be really big. Like you wouldn't have those then. I mean, you could, but... So something like that, sure. Maybe they just go there. I mean, that could work for a click one. The tiny in the middle. I want the tiny near the JST connector. Anyway, that's fine. Don't remove the JST. No. Well, that JST, the pH is going to stay. That's for battery. But why is that complicating it? For the sake of two connectors, they can put stemmer on the same board and mix them. Can I make that stack with the 3 shield version? What do you mean, Chris? Can I make what stack with the 3? What, another click connector to make 3 click connectors? Is that what you're saying? I don't understand. For the sake of 2 connectors and allowing people to also plug stemmer into it, it just makes it more versatile. For 2 10-cent connectors, they would get populated on the pick and place anyway. That's going through the same process. Make the 2 expanded boards stack on top of each other, back to back. Yeah. What? No. Yeah. No thanks, Chris. Once again, you're taking something to the extreme of not usable and not needed, and back to back. And how would that? Yeah, how would that even connect? Then one couldn't be used by itself. It'd be backwards, like it would. And how would they connect? I have to put connectors on to connect the connects. That yeah, no. Once again, too far. It's not what this board is. Like, you don't need 6 connectors or 4 connectors, or you don't need 3 tiny Pico shields and micro bus at the same time. If you do, you need something else. Like, that's just crazy. Like, show me one example from anyone else's ecosystem that does anything like that. It's just not needed. Like, if it was needed, Adafruit would have done it ages ago. Make it easier for yourself. You could sell a kit with through-hole headers. But that's what I do right now, and people have to solder them on, and they dislike it. And I'm not pre-soldering them on, and they're a pain in the backside to kit. So, and there's no way I would be shipping the micro bus connectors, the click connectors through hole in the bags. How would they not get damaged? Microbus is something. It's the microtik guys, whatever. It's another standard. It's a click. It's a click. It's this. Hang on, I had it open. Oh, it's these. That's the socket, and they've got a range of click products. Though I gotta say, I don't know how popular they are compared to like the Adafruit stuff and whatever. Like, it's. Maybe in Europe they may be more popular, I don't know, but it's a way of putting expansion boards on. That's okay, Chris. Like, it's you know, people are free to design their own expansion boards if they want, and shields and whatever. But like, I keep saying I don't want to make an overly complicated solution for this. I don't want double-sided. People don't need 6 connectors on it. So what's that got to do with the Tiny Pico ecosystem? It doesn't. It doesn't. That's why it's a separate board over here on the side, and I still need to solve what I want to do with this. And I'm just not sure what that is now, to be honest. the right size. Yep. So I still have the option of doing this, assuming I can get the headers. Or I just do this. That version. And make a new prototype board. Like a bigger prototype board. You can even hang over the edge. Something that goes as a plug into that would, yeah, I don't know. This one has only 2, yes, because I was going to do a prototype area. Again, I'm not sure that the 3 up is as useful as something with a prototyping area. Oh boy, 2.5 hours of indecision. I don't mind this idea. I'd have to be able to get these quick connectors in bulk, like not in 20s. And I need them to be pick and placeable off a tray or something. I don't want to have to hand assemble them. That'd be a pain in the backside. Do we have one less connector? Do they have them? Okay, I'll have a look. The SMD ones. So what do you mean one? Oh yeah, I haven't finished. I keep moving things around. It'll end up being the same, whatever it is. I've heard of the click stuff. There's just so many ecosystems. Like how many do I need to really support? I don't know. Mauser, Sweden. Okay. So I have no solution here. Like you seem to be split between a prototyping area or not a prototyping area. Make a dedicated prototype board. Why not make it wider? Make 2 tiny pico sockets in a row, but the prototype area on the sides. Huh? You want to stick to the all-in-one row design. If you make a dedicated proto board, why not make it wider? Make 2 tiny pico sockets in a row, but the proto area on the side instead. I don't understand what that is saying. Rhoda, so can you explain that? Like I've already got a dedicated proto board. I'm not saying I want to use this one, and it is already wider than a tiny pico, right? Because it's got the headers broken out, so it's designed to go on top of a tiny pico, although because the prototyping is underneath, so it would fit on a tiny pico or a tiny S3, and you've got the extra pins broken out on the sides and a prototyping area in the middle. That goes into the shield as well, although you can fit them, like there's enough space on the side to get the next row in. It's CAD time. Thanks, Bruce. You know what I mean? So I've already got that. So I don't understand what you mean. I vote for a dual clickboard. Oh, I'll do the dual clickboard. That's not a problem. have 2 TP sockets in a row, but prototype area on the side instead. So make it, you're talking about making it wider. So you're talking about putting like this 3 tiny picos and a prototyping area on the back. Is that what you mean? Right, that's what you mean. Okay. So back to, for instance, this one. Yeah, but with the prototyping area. Do I still have that? I do. But with the prototyping area thinner and longer down this section. Is that what you're saying? You got to remember the antenna and stuff's hanging over the edge here. But yeah, sure. I mean the board. Okay. Like it wouldn't have to be super wide. I don't want it too big. It'll fit in a bag. Don't worry about packaging. But well, I wouldn't go square. I wouldn't go square, but I'd consider. Well, these can be. I have to see how much space we can, like how much prototyping we can get in there. So these are 8. So you'd want a bit of space. Okay, so rotate the tiny pico 90 degrees. Yeah, no, I wouldn't rotate them. So I could do something like this, right? Where I could have quite a lot of. I wouldn't be able to. Yeah, we'll have to be careful with. I mean, we can get a lot of headers in here, right? It'll also keep in mind it's going to make a very expensive PCB because of all of the drilling. So JLC and whoever, they charge for drilling if you're over 4,000 drills. So the second I try to penalize this, it would become a very expensive PCB. Just saying. So something like that, right? Is what you're talking about? Obviously with work out where the power and ground's going to go. So you say that's limited. Are you calling this limited? The minimum fee is $15 US per board sorry, $15 US per per order of each design, but depending on how many you're making, that price goes up, and then it goes up by number of holes per area squared. It's a really shit formula. So like I already pay extra for my Pro S3 panels because on my panel I've got over 4,000 holes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 32 times 8. That's already 256 holes. So like, you know, depending on how many I panelize on a board. Anyway, just something to consider. I just have to be careful. Like, that's all. So that's 256. So I could get 10 of these on a panel and then be 2,560 if I'm going surface mount for the rest. Like, I need to have mounting holes, right? I need to put a, you know... Really? I need to put like a mounting hole there and a mounting hole there and whatever. So that's an extra 4 holes, and then if any wires I've got in there is holes and holes and holes, and for the routing and everything, getting everything over. So yeah, I just got, you know, I just have to keep it in mind. So on my Pro S3 boards, it doesn't really matter because they're a super expensive board anyway because of the castellated edges. But for something like this, that should just be a fairly cheap 2-layer board, even if it's in an ENIG, you know, it could double the price of the PCBs because of the extra drills. It's probably something new. I did 16,000 holes and didn't get charged extra. No, it's been there for ages. It's absolutely not new. 16,000 holes on one PCB. There's no way you didn't get charged for it. If you didn't get charged for it, they let it through. The fee on 16,000 holes for you would have been like $180 extra, Christian. It's in their what do you call it? Their charges guide thing on their website. I'm sure I've had boards go through that have been slightly over 4,000. I haven't been hit before, but on my last set of boards, I had to actually go and redesign 840 holes on one board, on one PCB, and then panelized. Wait, slow down. Wait. You're talking about 16,000 holes on one panel. I find that hard to believe. Like a panel of my Pro. How big is the panel? How many boards are on there? If there are 840 holes on one board, how many boards have you got on your panel? Like, you'd have to have... Okay, I guess 20 boards on your panel. Yeah, maybe. Right? Yeah. Oh, that's nothing. That's 840 on a board then, if it's not panelized. Where'd you get 16,000 holes from? It's per board. Per board. As in so if it's if your board is a panel of 20, that's still a board. It's a board of 20 boards, right? If you had a board made with, it's only got 840 holes, it's only 840 holes. If you get 20,000 of them made, it doesn't matter, it's 840 holes. So if it was 20 of those 840 on a panel, then that's 16,000 holes. Yes. More. 17,000 holes, just under. So if I go to here, go to my Pro S3 panel. So here's my Pro S3 panel, right? And so like the castellated edges, there's 17 pins times 2 because of the castellation times 2 sides, right? Per board alone, let alone all the vias and stuff. So if I go into tools, inspect, show board statistics, right? It shows me here drill holes. I've got to add them all up. I don't understand why they can't just give me a total. But you can see already I'm over 4,000, 3,060 plus 1,020. I'm already at 4,080. So whatever it is, that's 4,200. Just those 200 extra ones over 4,000, the minimum fee is $15.40 something US dollars. Okay, but that's the minimum until you get above the minimum, which is based on number of holes per, and that's any drill hole on here. It doesn't matter what the drill hole is. If it's a mounting hole, if it's a via, if it's a header pin, if it's mouse bites. So you look at all my mouse bites holes, they all count. Every single one of those is a drill hole. So I actually had to go through all my boards and reduce the number of vias and stuff on them because they were all over. And again, it's fine on my Pro S3 for me to pay that extra because they're horrifically expensive PCBs already. But on my tiny S3, for instance, it would have doubled my PCB price. So I just couldn't justify doing that. Yeah, in this case, it's $1 extra per board, but the $1 extra per PCB in this case is really, like the castellated edges alone is like $90 extra just for the castellations on this panel. Use spare panels as a sieve. Anyway, these are really cool panels though. You see why I panelized them? I showed it in my last video. So I came up with a way of, so these are all panelized in KiCAD, but custom panels, like a custom design in KiCAD. But I wasn't sure if this was going to work or not. So there's my panel. And the way I designed them is it's only got V-score vertically. And that's it. And everything else, so all these tabs, these are all fixed. There's no mouse bites. There's only mouse bites on the USB breakout. And so when I separate these, all I have to do is separate V-score, V-score, and V-score, and then snap out the USB of the board. And I've got no edge cleaning except for their back bits. It's magic. And the boards came up. See, I'm giving too much away now. Giving too much away. The boards came up awesome. Stay tuned for my next video in the installment. I have another video coming out end of this week. Can PCBs be cut and drilled with a laser? Not with a laser that we would ever be buying for our homes, no. Like you'd need, and yes, you can get very special dedicated lasers that are designed to cut and route PCBs. Very expensive machines. Lucky you didn't build that overly complex edge sanding machine. Well, my other boards still have to be separated and cleaned. Just these ones don't. So this was a real challenge to to panelize. I worked with Jan, who makes KiCAD, and he added functionality for me to be able to do this. So, yeah. And this also gives me stability in the pick and place machine, because if I also, for instance, stuck a V-cut through here, right, or through here to separate them, then I'm going to introduce a lot more flex on the board in the pick and place machine. These are already, they flex a lot as it is because they're only 1mm PCBs. Why not choose V-score for the USB connector breakaway? Because then they have to be cleaned better, because V-score leaves debris, and they're very hard to clean once the USB is there. How do I clean the edges? Because there's a USB connector hanging over the edge. I ordered my first PCB with black solder mask. Woohoo, James. Matte black or normal black? Oh, JLC, so they've only got the one black, the matte black. Okay. Because like PCBWay and other places offer both matte and normal. And also JLC's V-score is not overly reliable in terms of their position. So, yeah. So these are mouse bites. I'm much more comfortable with using that. It's what I've used all the time. They're really strong. They don't flex. And they actually break off much cleaner than V-score does. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about my. So I panelize all my own boards from now on. So my Reflow Master Pro boards, which arrive Friday. Let me go find them. Again, I made my own panels. Ooh. So here are my Reflow Master Pro boards, panels. Oh, whatever. Show all. And again, these are done. This is a completely custom panelizing. Should turn that off. Not that one. There we go. This is a completely custom panelizing, because if you look where the tabs are, the tabs have to miss the indents for the SD card and for the antenna area. And so I've ended up going for double V-score to cut them out and not mouse bites, because mouse bites would have been really messy edges, but nothing vertically between the boards, but nothing on the edge rail, so I get the edge rail completely clean vertically, so I get the strength. So this is what it looks like as a panel. Again, completely custom panelization, and that's all done through a script, through a Python script. I run the command, I get a panelized board, 100% the same, everything about it, the fiducials and everything else. I want to do a video about KiCAD. It's amazing, but I'm like a total newbie in it. But anyway, everything about it, one command, done. What if you V-score the corners? You can't V-score corners. What do you mean V-score corners? V-score has to be vertical or horizontal, and it has to go the entire length and width of the board. Yeah, I'm really happy about. I'm also happy about the fact that the Reflow Master Pro is done. I'm still tinkering with version 1 of the code, but it's fully functional. And these are my first production boards. Catch you later, Photochromax. Yeah, so I've been having fun panelizing boards. It's good. It's great. It's very rewarding, except for when JLC you don't get your boards right, but that's a whole different story. I see no point to have any prototyping area on a board. Either use a breadboard, a promo board, or a custom PCB. Sure, but some people do like it, and that's why I was playing around with it. Hey, Ellen, that's why I was playing around with the idea, Mark. JC depends on the day, whatever is in stock, or the phase of the moon or something. Absolutely. No, they're all matte. They're just different shades of black or grey. Different shades of shininess or matteness. They're not gloss black though, so yeah. Okay. I don't know what we're going to do with this 3-up board. I like the idea of the click one, Mark, so I'm probably just going to do that anyway. Not that I've got any click boards here. I'm going to have to then get some sensors to test them. Yeah, the matte green looks nice, but oh my god, it is expensive. Like the other people that have it. 50 Shades of Black solder mask. Yeah. just be warned, the silk screen on their black isn't anywhere near as good, James. So I don't know why they just can't get their silk screen on black working nicely, but they do a terrible job on, specifically on the black. Must have been shrooms in my breakfast. I'm seeing all psychedelic colours behind you. I wish I had some magic mushrooms with me right now. I really do. I'll have to sit on this, work out what I want to do with I might end up making 3 different 3-up shields. I don't know. I didn't really want to, but maybe I will. But I think I'm going to call it. I need to get back to web work. Web work. It's terrible, but it's important. It's for my S3 stuff. Very close. Very, very close. Except I've got no stock. No stock. Because I've got no chips. Can't get chips. Anyway, okay. So that's for another day. Thank you all for your help and thoughts. And sending me off on wild goose chases on what I'm going to do with this 3-up shield. I don't know. Digikey. They're just sensors? Yeah. Okay. Have a nice day, Carsten. Oh, what's that? Micro. Is the prototype one? Sure. I don't know. Maybe if people want prototype boards, I'll point them towards the Makerverse stuff. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if people even use the prototype boards. I've sold a lot of them. I just don't know what they use them for. So I don't even know if they're useful as they are like this. And if I made them twice as big, would that be any more useful or any less useful? I don't know. Don't know. Okay. Bye, everyone. Have a great week. Yeah, look out Friday, either Friday morning or Saturday morning. Saturday morning my time, Friday night your time. I don't know when I'm going to release it. I've got a new ESP32S3 video coming out with some data. Data meaning something you all want to know. Info about something you all want to know. I'm not going to tell you what it is. It's coming. Stay tuned. Otherwise, bye everyone. Hey, don't forget to like before you go. Like the stream. 20 likes. Terrible. People didn't like it. Laser's not on, just because I didn't want to focus on the laser today. What Rota says, good night, bye. Okay. Good night, bye. Bye, everyone. Take care.